Hello guys, welcome. Hello guys, welcome to Washington Coaching Center. Now today we are going to start. The chapter name is sorry, yes, Animal Kingdom. Let's start. इसमें देखा जाए लेवल ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन देखा था सेलुलर लेवल होता है, टिश्यू लेवल होता है, ऑर्गन लेवल होता है, ऑर्गन सिस्टम लेवल होता है। सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम में क्या होता है, वन टाइप और ओपन टाइप और क्लोज टाइप होता है। ओपन टाइप में क्या होता है, ब्लड आउट थ्रू हार्ट एंड सेल एंड टिश्यू आर डायरेक्टेड within it and the blood is circulated through the vessel. Symmetrical. Asymmetrical cannot be divided into equal halves and through a medium example sponges. Radical symmetry. Any plane passing through the control axis can divide it into organism into equal halves. Hydra. Bilateral. Only one plane have divided the organism in equal halves. Example, Annelida and Anthropoda. The classification of germinal and layers, उसमें डिप्लोप्लास्टिक आता है। डिप्लोप्लास्टिक क्या है, द सेल are arranged in two embryonic layer and that is external ectoderm and internal ectoderm mesogelia and may be present in the between the ectoderm and the mesoderm and solid tetrachist. The ट्रिप्लोब्लास्टिक क्या होता है, देखो ट्रिप्लोब्लास्टिक क्या होता है, थ्री लेयर प्रेजेंट इन द डेवलपिंग एम्ब्रियो that is ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Example, chordata. Xylem, body cavity which is lined by the mesoderm, solimate and the column as called solemn. Example, chordata. Pseudocolumate had no true column and as a mesoderm present in the scattered and pouch between the ectoderm and the endoderm. Example, Eskimel things. And अगला है acoelomate. बॉडी कैविटी इज absent and the example platyhelminth. मेटामेरिज्म में क्या होता है, if the body is externally and the internally divided into ligaments and the cellular and repetition and the at the end of the list some organs, then phenomena is called metabolism. Example, earthworm. नोटोकॉर्ड क्या होता है, नोटोकॉर्ड स्ट्रक्चर लाइक mesoderm organ and the some organisms during the embryonic or development of the dorsal side. Example, chordata. Phylum Porifera is also called sponges and the usually the marine and the symmetrical have cellular organization. The food, gastric, respiration, exchange and the removal waste and occurred through the water canal and digestive intracellular ostia and the minute pores on the body and the spongiosole and the body cavity and the ocelum help in the water transport and they are lined by the gynocyte and the scolar level. Okay, and the body wall has spicules and the sponginous fiber. Animals are hermaphrodite and the fertilization internal and the development is indirect and with the larval stages with the metamorphosis to adult. Okay, example, cycone and spongia. Okay, and the phylum Coleoptera क्या होता है, also called Cnidarian and are usually marine and radically transsymmetrical, sessile or free swimming and tissue level of organism diploblastic and the presence of cyanoblast and or the accordage and defense and the capture of prey. Hello guys, welcome. So hello guys, welcome to Ashutosh coaching channel. Now today we are going to start the chapter name is plant kingdom. इसमें हम लोग जानेंगे आर्टिफिशियल सिस्टम ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन क्या होता है. यूज द सुपरफिशियल मॉर्फोलॉजिकल कैरेक्टर बेस्ड ऑन अ फ्यू कैरेक्टर like habits, color, number, and shape of heat, mainly based on the vegetative characters. Such system developed by the lineage and natural system of classification. Okay, based on the affinities among the organism, include external as well as internal features like anatomy, embryology, and the phytochemistry, developed by the George Bentham and the S.J.D. Hooker. The phylogenetic system of classification based on the evolutionary relationship between the various organisms. Organisms belongs to the taxa have a common ancestor developed by the Hutchinson numerical taxonomy carried out by the computer and the based on the observable character and the data based after the assigning number and the code to all character. Cytotaxonomy क्या होता है? Based on the cytological information and gives information chromosome number and the structure of behavior. Chemotaxy क्या होता है? Based on the chemical constitution of the plants. ओके, अब एल्गी क्या होता है यहाँ से जानते हैं, तो इसका सारे का स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो, बहुत काम आएगा. ओके, जस्ट वेट फॉर अ सेकेंड. ओके, कीबोर्ड टैक्सोनॉमी देख लिया हम लोग. अब आता है एल्गी के बारे में. एल्गी क्या है? क्लोरोफिल बियरिंग सिंपल थाइलॉइड ऑटोट्रॉपिक एंड द मोस्टली एक्वेटिक ऑर्गेनिज्म. Moist stone, soil, and wood are the other habitat. The size range from the microscopic unicellular from the like Chlamydomonas and to the colonial and forms like volvox and to filamentous forms like Urothrix and the Spirogyra. A few marine forms such as kelp and from the massive plant body reproduce vegetatively and by the fragmentation and reproduce asexually by the mostly produced by the producing motile spore called zoospore and the reproduction sexually by the producing gamete isogametes. Both gametes are same size and motile and isogamous. Both gametes are similar in size but motile. Oogamous male gamete is smaller but motile. Female gamete is larger but non-motile. Importance of algae देखा जाए तो at least half of the total carbon dioxide fixation of the earth carried by them increase the oxygen level of environment and by many species of laminaria and the sarcasm etc are used as the food and the agar obtained from the galladium and the glacidia and used to be ice cream and the jellies and the used to the culture bacteria and the algae obtained from the brown algae and the cardigan and from the red algae used to the commercially and the cholera and the spirulina are the unicellular algae and rich in the protein and used as a supplement even by a space travel. एल्गी जो होते हैं वो तीन टाइप एल्गी को तीन क्लास में बांटा गया है क्लोरोफाइस से रेडोफाइस से एंड फियोफाइस से एंड रेडोफाइस से. क्लोरोफाइस से क्या होता है? कॉमनली नेम ग्रीन एल्गी एंड मेनली पिगमेंट इज A and B and the unicellular colonial or filamentous cell wall has inner layer of cellulose and the outer layer of peptose and have pyroid as the storage body of starch and the protein. Example Chlamydomonas volvox Spirogyra phaeophyci. This is commonly known as brown green algae and mainly food found in the marine habitat and they possess chlorophyll and AC and the carotenoid and the xanthophyll and the fucoxanthin and the cell wall has cellulose and the lignin or gelatinous and the coating of algin has mannitol and the laminarin has reserved food material. Body divisible into the fold fast and the stipe and the frond. Respond asexual by the biflagellate pair and the shaped zoospore. Example ectoporus and fucus and the laminaria. Rhodophysis is commonly known as a red algae and the red color is due to the predominance of the red pigment and the R phycothyrin and in their body along with the chlorophyll A and D. Found on the surface as well as a great depth in the sea, in the ocean and cell wall made of cellulose and the pectin and the polysulfate ester and the reserve from the material is the floridian and the starch is similar to the myelopectin and the glycogen in structure. Reproduce sexually by the non-motile spores and sexually by the non-motile gametes. Oogamous type. Example polyphone porifera and the galladium. Okay. नाउ ब्रायोफाइटा देख लेते हैं. Amphibian of plant occur in the damp and the humid places and the lack true roots and stem or leaves. Plant body attached to the soil by the unicellular or the multicellular rhizoids, and the main plant body is haploid and gametophytic and reproduce in the bryophyte. Vegetative reproduction by the fragmentation, okay? And the sexual reproduction is gamete and in the gamete cups. Sexual reproduction, the main body is gametophyte and the sexual organ is a bryophyte or multicellular, and the male sex organ is called antheridium, and the which produces biflagellated and antherozoid as a male gamete. Female sex produce the archegonium is a flask shaped and produces a single egg, and fertilization takes place in a water, result in the formation of zygote. The zygote develop into a multinuclear and multicellular and body called a sporophyte, and which remains parasitic on female gametophyte. The sporophyte differentiated into a food seta capsule. Some cell of the capsule undergo the mitotic division to the produce haploid spore. These spore germinated into a independent gametophyte. Most gametophyte consist of two stages. The first stage is called the protonema stage, and which develop from the spore and is creeping and green branched. Second stage is leafy stage, in which develop from the protonema and stage as the little bird, and they consist upright and the cylinder axis and the bearing spirally arranged leaves. Economic importance: food for herbaceous animal. Sphagnum is the form of peat and used as fuel, and is also used for transshipment of living material, as it has holding the capacity prevent the soil erosion, and along with the lichen and are first colonizers on barren rock. They decompose rock and the making substrate for the growth of higher plant. टेरिडोफाइट क्या होता है इनको अब जानते हैं टेरिडोफाइट के बारे में. द फर्स्ट टेरेस्ट्रियल प्लांट and the possesses the vascular tissue like xylem and phloem, and the plant body differentiated into true roots and the stems and leaf. The main plant body is saprophytic. The leaf may be small micropyle and as in the selaginella, and the or large micropyle as in the ferns, and the sporangia having spore are subtended by the leaf like appendage called the sporophyll. Sporophyll may be arranged to be the sporobly or cones. In sporangia, the mother cell give rise to the spore after meiosis, and the spore germinate to the forms haploid gametophyte and structure called prothallus, and which is free living, a small multinuclear, multicellular, and the photosynthetic. The prothallus bear antheridia and the archegonia, which bears anthrazoid and egg and cell perceptively, and which on the fertilization from the zygote, and the zygote develop into the multicellular and well differentiated sporophyte. Most of the sporophyte produce similar kind of spores, hence called homosporous, and the genera like Selaginella and the Salvinia, and which produces two kind of spore, micro large and small, and micro spore known as the heterosporas, and microspore and the macrospore germinated and give rise to male and female gametophyte respectively. The female gametophyte in this plant are retained on the parent sporophyte for the variable, and the development of zygote into the embryo takes place within the female gamete, and the event is procedure to the sea habitat and considered as in the important step in evolution. Pteridophyta further classified into four: Xylophyta and the Sylepton and the Lysophyta, again Lycopsida and the Cephopsida and the Pteridopsida. Now gymnosperm has have the naked seed as the ovule are not enclosed by the and by any ovary wall and remain exposed both before and after fertilization. Gymnosperm include the medium-sized tree or the tall trees and the shrubs. Root is generally taproot and may be associated with the mycorrhiza and the stem branch and the pinus and the unbranched scias, and the leaves may be simple or the compound. Reproduction क्या होता है? Gymnosperm are heterophytic heterosporous, and they produces the haploid microspore and the megaspore. Male strobili and or the cone has microphyll and which bears the microsporangia and having microscope which develop into the reduce and the gametophyte and called the pollen grains. Females cone or the strobili and the megasporophyll which bears the megasporangia and having megaspore which are enclosed within the megasporangian nucleus, and one megaspore develop into the female gametophyte and bearing two or more archegonia, and the pollen grains carried in air current and rich ovules the form the pollen tube which reach archegonia and releases male gamete and the fertilize egg shell and forms zygote which produces the embryos, and ovules develop into the seeds and which are not covered. Okay, अब जानते हैं एंजियोस्पर्म के बारे में. एंजियोस्पर्म called the flowering plant and have seed enclosed in the flower, and they are divided into the dicotyledon and the two cotyledon, monocotyledon, and the smallest angiosperm wolfia and the largest eucalyptus and over 100 meters. Reproductive organs develop in the flowers, and male sex organ in a flower are called stamen. Stamen has filament and anther. Anther on the meiosis produce pollen grains. Pollen grains have two male gametes and the female sex organ at pistil. Pistil are stigma style. It has six stigma style and ovary. Ovary has one or many ovules in which pistil in which females or gametophyte embryo sac and developed by the meiosis. Embryo sac has 7 cell and 8 nuclei, 1 cell, 2 synergid and 3 antipodal, and 1 central having 2 polar nuclei, and the polar gas is carried by the wind and water. It is reaches to the stigma and pollen produces pollen tube which entire the embryo sac. डबल फर्टिलाइजेशन क्या होता है? सिन गैमी वन मेल गैमेट fuse with the egg cell to form the zygote which develop into the embryo, and triple fusion and other gamete fuses with secondary nucleus and formed by the fusion of polar nuclei, and which forms triploid endosperm pain, and the pain develop into endosperm and nourishment and developing embryo, and ovule develop into the seeds, ovaries and into fruit. Double fertilization क्या होता है? Seen gamete one male gamete fuses and egg cell to form zygote develop into embryo. Okay, ovules develop into the seed and the ovaries into fruits. Okay guys, thanks for watching video till the end, and don't forget to be part of journey of need. So as you can channel हो like share subscribe करें. Bye bye and see you in next video. Now central body cavity, also gastrovascular cavity or a cylindron. Digestion extracellular and the intracellular bland sac type body plan with the one opening and histosome. Okay, hypostome, and the body wall composed of calcium carbonate and inhibits two body forms polyp and the medusa, example hydra and the idla. Alternation of generation between the body forms called the metagenesis and occurs in the obelia where the medusa and sexually produced and the polyp and the sexually produces physilar and the amines. Okay, एंड क्या है? एडामिशा एडमेशिया. उसके बाद देखा जाए फाइलम सिनोप्टेरा में, तो ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज अ वॉलनट एंड comb jellies and are exclusively marine and radically symmetrical and having level organization are diploplastic. Digestion both extra and the intercellular and body has eight external rows of ciliated and the comb plates of for locomotion. So voluminous living organisms emit light. Sexes are not separate and that is hermaphrodite produces only by the sexual method. Okay, external fertilization and in indirect development. Example टीनोप्लाना कहते नहीं है सीनोफ्लाना एंड द प्लूरोबेंकिया. उसके बाद है प्लेटी हेलमिंथिस. क्या होता है? ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज फ्लैट वर्म एंड हैव डोर्स कहते नहीं है doors ventrally and flattened, mostly endoparasitic in animals including humans, and the bilateral symmetrical triploplastic acylomate and organ level of organization and absorb the nutrition through the body surface, and the parasite forms have hook and sucker. Flame cell help the osmoregulation and the excretion, fertilization, internal and many larval stages. Planaria has high regeneration capacity. Example Taenia and the Fussia. Phylum SKML. Phylum Esculmenthes, also called roundworm and may be free parasite, aquatic or terrestrial, are bilateral symmetry, triploblast, and the pseudocoelomate and alimentary canal complete has muscular faddings and waste removed through excretory pores. Organ system of level organization and sexes separate, that is dioecious, and shows sexual dimorphism and female longer than the males, and the fertilization internal and the development direct or indirect ascaris and vulnaria. उसके बाद क्या है हमारा फाइलम एंडेटा. आर एक्वेटिक और टेरेस्ट्रियल, फ्री लिविंग और पैरासाइटिक, आर बायलेटरली सिमेट्रिकल और ट्रिप्लोब्लास्टिक organ system of level of organization and metamersally and segmented body and have longitudinal and the circular muscle in the body wall of locomotion. Aquatic annelida like Nereis and has or shared at the parapodia movement, have nephrida and osmoregulation and excretion. Nervous system consists the pair of ganglia and the connected by a lateral nerves to the double ventral nerves cord, and circulation system is closed type. An earthworm, Ferritima and leech and the Hydrodaria and which are hermaphrodite and example monoecious. The Nereki is an aquatic forms is dioecious and the fertilization is external and the development is direct or indirect. Phylum Anthropoda क्या होता है? Largest phylum of Animalia include the insect are bilaterally symmetrical triploblast organ and the level of organization coelomate and segmented. A body is divisible into head, thorax, abdomen, body covered by the chitinous exoskeleton, and they have joint appendage and respiration by the gill, book, gills, lungs, and tracheal system. Circulation is open type, excretion through the Malphian tubules, and the sensory organ antenna and eye, organ of balance, statocyst, and the mostly dioecious, and the fertilization internal and are mostly oviparous. Development is indirect. An example Apis, Bombyx, Anophes, Locusta, Limulus. Phylum Mollusca largest. Second largest phylum of Animalia terrestrial aquatic are bilateral symmetrical triploblastic on the organ level of organization coelomate and the and body divided into the head, muscular foot, and the scalp and hump, and is covered by the soft and spongy layer of skin and the called mantle. Unsegmented body is covered by a calcareous and shell, and the spiration and excretion by the feather like gills and the tenoidium and in mental cavity. Hair has sensory tentacles, radula file-like rasping organ for the feeding, and the usually dioecious have direct development. Example, pila and the pinctada octopus. उसके बाद हमारा है now phylum Echinoderma are spiny bodied organisms endoskeletal of calyx and the ossicles are exclusively marine and radically symmetrical in adult and the bilateral symmetry in larval stages and organ system level of organization and triploblast and the eucoelomate digestive system complete mouth ventral and the anus on dorsal side food gathering, respiration, locomotion, and carried out by the water vascular system. And the excretory system is absent, and the dioecious x-axis are separated, and the fertilization external and development indirect. And for free swimming larva asterias and the cucumeria. Okay. ओ भगवान ये बैग क्यों हो जा रहा है बाबा अब आता है हमारा फाइलम हेमिकोडाटा हैव स्मॉल वर्म लाइक मैराइन एनिमल एंड was earlier placed as a subphylum of phylum Chordata and bilateral symmetrical triploblast coelomate and the body cylindrical हद है भाई हद बार बार ये क्या हो जा रहा है ओके उसके बाद हमारा was earlier का तो हो गया bilateral भी हो गया body cylindrical and has proboscis and the collar and the trunk circulation is open time respiration by the gills excretion by the gropsis and the gland and sexes separated external fertilization and indirect development and example Bellengulus okay उसके बाद है phylum chordata presence of notochord between the gut and the node cord and butt dorsal hollow node cord have paired pharyngeal gills and the hair is ventral and heart is ventral and the post anal is tail front tall is anal is tail present bilateral symmetry and the triploblast and the coelomate with the organ level of organization and the circulation is closed type इसमें भी होता है सब डिवीज़न होता है फाइलम फाइलम का फाइल फाइलियोकोडाटा फाइलियोकोडाटा नोटोकॉड प्रेजेंट ओनली इन द टेल एंड लार्वल स्टेज एग्जांपल एस्कीटा एंड द सल्फर एंड द डोलियोलियम सब एग्जांपल इज cephalochordata notochord extends from the head to the tail example apophyxis subphyla vertebrate have notochord only during the embryonic period and notochord gets replaced by the bony or cartilaginous vertebral columns and have ventral vascular heart and with two, three, or four chambered paired appendages when may be the fins or the limbs, kidney excretion and the smooth आज हद ही हो गया भाई हद हद जानते हो हद क्या होता है class cyclostoma stomata having sucking and circular mouth without jaw and live ectoparasite on some fishes devoid of scale and no paired fins cranium and vertebral column is cartilaginous marine habit and but migrate to fresh water and for spawning and die after the spawning larva returns to the ocean after the metamorphosis and the पेट्रोमाइजोन उसके बाद हमारा सुपर क्लास पीसेस का देखो osteocyte and the include the both marine and the fishes and the bony endoskeleton and the mouth is usually terminal and fourth pair of gills cell slits and covered by the operculum and skin has cycloid cystinoid scale and air bladder is present for the buoyancy and the heart is two chamber, cold-blooded, dioecious, and the sexually metamorphosis, fertilization, and mostly oviparous development is direct at the hippocampus and the labello and the catla and the beta. Subclasses of tetrapoda. First class, first amphibia, can live in aquatic animal as well as terrestrial habitat. Most of them have the pair of limbs and body visible into the head under trunk and skin moist and without scale and the tympanum and the represent the ear and the cloacae is the common clambers and where the alimentary urinary bladder and reproduction tracts open. Respiratory by the gills and the lungs and the skin, heart three chamber and the auricles and the one ventricle. Cold-blooded animals, sexes and separated and fertilization is external and requires the oviparous and direct development. Okay, डायरेक्ट डेवलपमेंट है इसको, यहाँ तक दिक्कत तो नहीं होगा। एग्जाम्पल बुफो राना हाइला, क्लास 2 reptilia, creeping of creeping or crawl mode of locomotion and the body has dry and the cornified skin and the epidermis scale and the skirts. Tympanum represent ear and the limb present when the present are pair when present are two pair and the mostly three chamber and the heart and the four chamber in the crocodile, snakes, lizard, it's shared scale in skin cast. Okay, and the poikilotherm and sexes and are separated and fertilization internal. Okay, and oviparous direct development example टेस्टिडोनाजा विपेरा एंड द कैलोट्स। उसके बाद हमारा है एव्स क्लास 3, प्रेजेंस ऑफ फीदर एंड द मोस्ट के फ्लाई एक्सेप्ट बॉदर बर्ड्स एंड लाइक ऑस्ट्रिच एंड जो मॉडिफाइड इट टू द बिग without teeth and the forelimb are modified into the wings and the hind limbs have scale and no glands on the skin except oil gland at the base of tail endoskeleton bony and with their cavity and the pneumatic and the hollow bone to the assist light. Digestive tract has additional chamber like crop, gizzard and heart is four chamber homeothermous or warm blooded, able to maintain the constant temperature and air sac are connected to the lungs and the supplement aspiration oviparous direct development and columba and the struthiocorvus. Last हमारा for mammal have memory gland to the nourish to the youngs ones by the secreting males have mammals have pair of four limbs and the skin are hairs. Okay, उसके बाद देखा जाए तो external ear and or pinna present different type. Okay, present different type of teeth jaw and hair is heart is four chambered homeothermous and respiration by the lung section separate and the fertilization internal and the viviporous viviporous or oviporous direct development ratus canias elephant euquus oviporous mammal and the or the omnithecus. Okay, so guys इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो, इसका नहीं इसका, इसको भी आप अपने दोस्तों के पास भेज ताकि वो सॉल्व भेज दे या फिर आप खुद उसको सॉल्व कर लेना। ओके, हालांकि मैं तो अपने दोस्त को चला भेज दें। So guys, one more thing, thanks for watching video till the end and don't forget that you are part of journey of needs. So जो जितना हो सके लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब करें। बाय बाय एंड सी यू इन नेक्स्ट वीडियो।